All right, then. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Narik Chase channel. I have with me here Ken. He's come back. Mr. KP, he's back at it with us. Go ahead and join me for another character ranker. Now, the last episode, episode 5, we did Carrie White from the Stephen King movie, the 1979 Stephen King movie, Carrie. This episode, we're going to jump back to the superheroes. And like it says right there in the title, we're going to be talking about Henry Cavill's performance as Superman.
Da, da, da.
So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. Henry Cavill is the Superman in the new DC extended universe, which is what rivals the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And his portrayal of the character has been mixed. I don't want to say it's divisive, but it has been mixed by a lot of people. Personally, I actually like him as Superman. And I don't think Ken does.
I do like Henry Cavill. I liked, we've had the 1950s version. We had Brandon Routh. We've had Christopher Reeve. We had, Henry Cavill is the latest incarnation. We do have a few side TV series, but in Man and Justice League, the 3 reference movies that we have right now for Henry Cavill, and I really have liked this Superman. I don't like the fact that I understand why they did it, and they're kind of trying to change the DC universe a little bit, and how like Superman never killed anybody, Batman never killed anybody, but yet we had Superman versus Batman. Batman mows all them dudes down. Just drops them, which was against the code. Or at least the code that we've grown up with. Superman, the first Superman with Henry Cavill in it, General Zod. Zod was a bad dude. Don't get me wrong. He was bad. The guy who played him fit my bill of General Zod. He fit him very well. And the fact that, he was trying not to kill him. He was trying everything within his power just not to do it. But his value over life versus that is what he had to draw the line on, and he did. He made that choice, and then we got him in Batman versus Superman, where he's trying not to kill Batman because I could have mopped your ass a long time ago, but he was trying not to, even when he was in with the Krypton gas and all this other junk. He still yet hoped that he could do something, and. I like him. I like the style of character. He gives you a little bit of the Christopher Reeve that we, saw before with kind of the grease hair, the little curl thing going on. It's what you see in the classic comic books. I like him. Go ahead.
I actually, as far as the character, I like the character because I think he's more conflicted with his superhero status than any other Superman. Like in this, when you watch him in Batman v Superman, he's conflicted about why he's Superman. In the other versions, you don't see that.
Yeah, there's never been. Superman was just, I'm born, this is what I'm going to do, and just keep on trucking. And I'm the most powerful being on the planet. Nothing can touch me. And
the DCEU version of him, he has to learn to accept his role. Kind of like if you watch Smallville, he wasn't Superman right off the bat. He learned, and that's what developed him to be Superman. So I think, as far as the character-wise, this is the deepest version of the character. Now, that's not saying the other versions weren't deep; they had their moments. But I think, as far as him having to deal with, still struggling, thinking about, his father, him trying to figure out his role in the world, him trying to figure out his heritage and accepting that. Like the movies that we've seen so far have dug into all of that, and in a way that we haven't seen before.
Well, when we had he could have saved his dad, and his dad looked at him and said, "No, the world's not ready for you yet." Basically, is what he was saying. The world's not ready for you yet, and he could have saved his dad. He could have, in just a blink of an eye, but that would have given him away. And I like at the beginning of the movie where he's just trying just to be a Joe Schmuck nobody. But he can't stay away from not helping, when that the whole oil rig is going up in flames and stuff, and those guys are trapped. And he's like, he gets out there and he just throws down, holds that thing up, lets him get away, and then disappears again.
Yep.
You know, he couldn't let it be. He just could not let it be. His upbringing, his raising, he just couldn't do it. And just and the look of the, you know, he processed the choice of exposing himself and saving, or just letting him die and keeping the secret.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I
like. The character, I like what he brings to the character. I like the style of his version of the Superman. I still feel a little classic Reeve, but I feel something new. I feel, you know, stepping into a new updated world with the Superman character, a more modernized world that we live in now, and seeing that kind of roll in there. And he's not seen his own, you know, when his dad shows up on the ship, you know, and he actually finally meets Kal-El and it's like, you know, you were meant for greater things. That's why we sent you here. And he kind of, that's where he has to learn. When Zod's like, look, you're a freaking god. You should be running this place like a god, not protecting these morons. We are so much more. And he's like, no, we're not. We are no better than they are. You know, we just have superpowers.
Yeah.
But, you know, when Zod's trying to pull that dark side mental thing on him, you know, and how he withstood to try to, you know, stand his ground. You know, I don't want to kill you, but you don't belong here. You need to go.
And I like that he's a likable guy, too. Like, if you watch the movies, outside of him being Superman, like, if you watch Justice League, we watched Justice League yesterday because she bought it for my birthday. And the moment where these kids were filming him, and he's talking to the kids.
Oh, yeah.
He's not being, like, obnoxious. I mean, he was he didn't know what to say in certain questions. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I like that. He isn't the whole goody two shoes and stuff like that. And I think that's why I like his character so much, because it is a lot different than what we've seen before. It isn't a goody two shoes guy, like, even though he has that.
He's not.
And also, he's not a nerd. I mean, what we perceive to be a nerd. Christopher Reeve's version was like more of a shy, timid person, whereas this one, he's not like overly expressive like that, but he's not like really shy either. You can tell he's I don't know how to say it. He's, I guess, normal.
Yeah, I guess you could say it. Yeah.
Like that's why I say he's a likable character outside of his Superman. You know what I'm saying? But okay,
he's fun.
Yeah. And as far as the performance goes, Henry Cavill is a good Superman. I really do, and like you said, I like what he brings to the role.
Yeah, he's different. He has a little bit of the old and a lot of new.
And I like that. I like that his portrayal of the character isn't always like happy. A lot of people say that's one reason they don't like him. He isn't just smiling all the time. No,
he's a conflicted person. He's got, you know, he's got the weight of the shoulders on his back. I mean, he's the most powerful man in the world. I mean, there's like literally nothing that can touch him. And, you know, he has the choice of, I can be helpful, or I can just say, screw it all and take you over, or I can just walk away and let it be. You know, I mean, you got to think that's a lot of burden on somebody to, you know.
I really do like that.
It's just a lot. And that's what I like about the character. You know, he has to reside, and even in JLA, you know, after he comes back and has, you know, lost his mind for a little bit, and then he calms down and takes off. When he's standing out in the field, and you know, he has a choice to make at that moment. You know, do I come back and do something about this, or do I just stay here and live my dream with Lois, or what? You know, he has lots of choices to make. He has a lot of weight, and he doesn't have a long time to make up his mind either. So it's a lot, but I like the fact that the way they've made the Cavill Superman and how he brings it to the table. And in his other movies too, he's very similar. He's got a humorous side, and he's just, you know, has a good time with it. But I've enjoyed the style of character that he's brought. I've enjoyed. I wasn't, you know, the first movie was good. I liked, you know, that. JLA was kind of mixed because he wasn't so much in the movie. and I was kind of expecting more of what they did in the comic series than they did with how they did the movie. I mean, it was an interesting twist. I think that was kind of what made it a little bit different for me. And then, of course, as I was talking about, he had his choice to make. Am I going to come in or not? And when he shows up, it's game on.
What did you think about the design of the character?
I've liked the new style of suit. I wish they would have done the black suit, though. I think everybody was kind of expecting to see that.
Yeah.
As the resurrected Superman. Eventually, he goes away from it, but
yeah.
Zod's suit basically was that. If he had just had a Superman logo on it, that would have been it anyway. So I mean, you kind of got to see what it would look like. Most people that are comic fans would like to see it, though.
Like I don't think I've ever, except in certain circumstances, like the tights, like in the Spider-Man. Like, okay, yeah, I give him a pass because he's wearing like tights. Like Power Rangers, no, I've never liked it. Now, when it came to both the movies, the 1990 version and the 2017 version, they were armored. I love that because it makes more sense. And I like how in this, like the Superman is body armor. It's tactical a little bit. Like if he's going to be going up, if he's going to be going up against these godlike beings, why not have him wear armor and stuff? That makes sense. So
well, you have to think though, Superman's body is pretty much armored. There's not much that's going to stop it. It's kind of like,
but
there was a series where he had almost like a gladiatorial type armor, not bulky, but kind of a limited or a more ultra mobility type armor in one of the series.
But that's why I said, like, if he's going up against godlike beings, because really his three weaknesses are kryptonite, magic, and other superpower beings.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens if the dark side shows up.
Oh, I can't wait. And I want to do a character. I'm going to do an episode where I'm going to pick 4 actors I think should be dark side, and I'll say why. And I'll spoil one of them. Lawrence Fishburne.
Really?
I think he should play him.
I think his demeanor, kind of like a Morpheus demeanor, would fit that profile. So I could say yes. I could see that. I don't think he has. I mean, granted, now it would have to be kind of like Steppenwolf, a CGI type character, unless they find somebody just that bulky to play Darkseid.
If they do a Darkseid, it'd have to play off like Thanos. That's the only. It had to be like Thanos. But I'll leave that for another video.
I do like where you're going with that. I can see the voice, the style, and the presence of Lawrence Fishburne. I can work with that one. I can dig that. I'm just trying, now I'm gonna be thinking about that one too. But let's go back to Superman. Let's go back to Superman.
All right, his abilities. I added that one in for some of the comic book characters with powers and stuff. So his abilities. What would you say about those?
I was interested. Well, we know Flight's in there, obviously,
Love
and the laser eyes, or whatever you want to call them.
I love
strength.
I
like the fight scene when he was fighting there was 2 when he fought Zod. And just literally how strong those 2 were. I mean, 2 superpowered gods basically fighting it out. And, just them punching each other. They were pushing each other away and making a crater in the ground. And you just got to think of the power and force that's there. But when he was fighting it was
Feyora and Non. Those are the 2.
Yeah, when he fought those 2 on the side from the farm and had used his advantage because they were, once they took off the shielding, they were exposed to the planet and they started having the same ability that he did, but they didn't know what it was. Bumped on him pretty hard. That whole fight scene was pretty cool.
Yes, I love the abilities in that movie. I think one of the best scenes of that movie wasn't violent. It wasn't crazy. It was when he learned how to fly.
Oh, the running and jump. Woohoo!
No, I mean like when he literally just took off, when he finally like just concentrated and he just took off into the air.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember. Yeah. When you see all the ground and everything starts swirling, and he just
I don't care. I don't care in any movie. That's the best flight sequence I've seen in any movie.
Yep, that was pretty cool. And he gets above the clouds and all that. Yeah. That was very cool because when you see the ground and everything shaking and the rocks and everything moving, and then poof, he's gone.
And then he was, and not only it was just he was so fast too. That made it like if you watch it closely when he does some close-ups, you'll see like the air slightly swirling around him. He's going so fast.
Yeah, that was cool.
His abilities, he's off the chain. And I guess the role of the character of Superman in the movies, I think they've been done fairly well. I will say that I love Justice League. It's one of my favorite, like, which we need to do a comic book team up movie video. But that one, I think his role was a bit. This is why a few moments I say it was a bit overpowered because his role in that movie eclipsed everybody else. Because they made him like I can understand you showing him as strong as he was fighting Zod because he was fighting another Kryptonian. And that wasn't, and you weren't expecting him, him to fight something stronger. But in the Justice League movie, he was a bit overpowered, and I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, well, either they should have depowered him a little bit to make his actual presence in the movie not overshadow the other characters, or they should have not had him in the movie.
Well, I liked it when he did come out of his coma or resurrection or whatever you want to call it. And then he lands up there and he's at his statue and then everybody shows up and then he's like, oh, no, you guys got to go. And he starts whomping on him.
Yeah, that was good. That was one of my favorites too.
And I was like, dang, he's beating the crap out of him. And then the only one that stood a chance would have been Wonder Woman, period. But, because basically she's a god. She's a god. So, I would going to get banged up pretty good.
I would like to see a fight between them two, like go all out.
Oh, they do. They do it a lot in one of the altered timelines. Where the Atlanteans, I'm not discovering not the Atlanteans, where Superman goes rogue and gets in there and gets in a big old fight. And I think that is the one where he's wearing that armor. I think he is wearing the armor in that series. That one of the what if series or something like that is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's been many years ago, but yeah, it was a pretty brutal fight though. I mean, it was bad.
But I think as far as the role of the character in the movies, outside of Justice League, were actually done really well. The movies did a great job of elaborating on his character. That's one reason I like Batman v Superman, because it was that's the only superhero movie I've seen they concentrated on two superheroes in that movie the way they did.
Yeah, they were more gearing to him. Well, I mean, that I kind of had a crazed performance with Affleck in there too, trying to see how his character was going to roll through it. Because independent Batman movie, fine. Batman vs Superman, and that one, I was expecting. I think a lot of people were expecting to see a heck of a lot more involvement between those two. There was a little hokiness in there with Martha. I still kind of have a little heartburn with that. How they finally combined themselves and understood each other and finally got along.
Yeah,
but.
I gotta get on the fence. I honestly didn't have a problem with it, because if my mom's name Martha, your mom's name Martha, I don't know your mom's name Martha, and I'm like, save Martha, that's gonna kind of get me too. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And I think if Superman would have like convinced him himself to back off and save his mother, I can understand everybody's point about the Martha thing. But since Lois Lane ran in when he did and reaffirmed it, that's why I was like, okay, I'm with them on this.
Well, also, I kind of like also how they played with Superman, toying with Batman. where tore up his car, and the kind of that subtle humor they had in there between those two in their first encounter with the Batmobile and all that stuff before they went to the warehouse scene. How Superman's like, ripping his car apart, and he goes, "It's going to cost you." He's tearing apart the Batmobile, and he's trying to do all his little tricks. He's like, "Not good enough, not good enough." And I did enjoy that though.
But I guess we are at the ranking moment. Based off the conversation we've just had, as well as your opinions of it, what would you rank Henry Cavill performance as Superman as? 1 being it sucked, 5 being it was great, or in between.
I'm gonna go with the 5 actually. I really do like the Henry Cavill character as Superman. I think they've done an excellent job with him. I think he's a good character. I think the personality of the actor plays well within the world, and of course a lot of stuff's already being rebooted as we see now anyway, but I think he's a nice, great modern take on the Superman. Christopher Reeve, Brandon Routh did good jobs. We had the goody and the kind of the middle range, but I think he's kind of been a good fun versions, but yet still retains his humanity, realizing who he is as a character, as powerful he is, but he also retains that humanity. And I think that's what made that character, especially like the end of a movie where he's floating out there with the general and he's trash predator drone that was following him.
Yep.
And then he's like, look, we got a mutual understanding here. I'm not here. I could have destroyed you guys a long time ago. All right, get with the program. And he kind of smiled and took off, So I've enjoyed it. So I'm going to definitely give him a 5 in the character ranking for it.
I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. A 5 out of 5 for Henry Cavill as Superman in DCEU. And having said that, guys, and plus I got to go move my car. All right, then, guys, in the comment section below, let us know what your thoughts are on Henry Cavill's performance as Superman. Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on the channel, as well as stay tuned for an episode of what they could have done better. And we will definitely catch you guys later. There's Crew out.
Adios.